What's up, everyone? This is Destroyer229, and welcome back to Let's Play Persona 5 Royal. Last time, we finished off the rest of our prep work, taking a look as to everyone's personas. Every single one of the Phantom Thieves has now gotten to their third tier personas. They're each able to apologize to Joker, and now every single one of the original Phantom Thieves has their third tier personas. Akechi, we can't really do anything with, and with what we were able to do last time, we managed to finish off Sumire's Confidant, finishing off every single Confidant in the game and getting her second tier persona, Vanadis. In this episode, with all of our prep work taken care of, and with a little over a week before our deadline, we are going to head on into Mementos. But not before we get through this evening. So, the Jazz Club has a Soltini. So, it's SP, SP and a level up. Again, not really super necessary. I want to change things up a little bit. Well, I guess we can see what sort of movies are in Shinjuku. What movie's being shown?
Wow.
Bite Club. Okay. Kind of weird, but sure. We can show off a couple more films. Let's watch Bite Club.
Well then.
Listen up, everybody! Welcome to Bite Club! There's a set of rules you're gonna have to follow. The first rule of Bite Club is you don't talk with food in your mouth. The second rule of Bite Club is no shirt, no shoes, no service.
Is this song from Arena? I feel like this riff is from, like, Arena or Ultimax. One of the two. Honestly, couldn't tell. I honestly thought it was, from The Answer at first. But no, I think this is a riff from one of the songs in Arena. Anyway. That was fun. And today we start off with a seat on the train. Let's go ahead and finish off Heroic Revelations. Well, that's another book taken care of, and I think that's all the new books in Royal finished.
Morning.
Morning, Ryuji. mean, it might, but I need to get ready before we delve into mementos. Alright, I'll think about it.
Oh, yeah.
Huh. Well, let's go ahead and check the roof. It would be... Oh, I guess Haru is here.
Good day.
So let's go ahead and harvest the vegetables. Weird that she was just standing up. But okay.
Good day.
Okay, so let's go ahead and plant some more vegetables. I mean, realistically, it's just one or the other. We'll go for some more onions. Why not? So it should be ready in a couple days. Now, unfortunately, because there is a snowstorm happening... Yep. Chihaya is not available. Well, damn. I was hoping that I would be able to head on into Mementos with it, but I kind of realized between episodes where it's like, oh, shoot. If it's gonna be snowing heavily, I won't be able to see Chihaya, and sure enough. Well, it sucks, but that doesn't mean that we won't still be able to get something done. We can still get the fusion alarms through Mementos normally. We just won't have the increased chance of getting them. Which again, kind of sucks, but not really that big of a deal. At any rate, we do need to get a move on. So today, we're off to the hideout.
Hello, Senpai.
Oh, hey, Sumire.
Wow, you got here fast. Well, while I was traveling here, I suddenly had this epiphany. So I had to hurry over and explain it to you.
Oh. Well, lay it on me.
Right. I've been wondering for a while if there's any way I can bring some personal flair to my fights in Mementos. Your own flair, eh? And you came up with something? Yes. But I do have a small favor to ask, Senpai. What we'll do is... I see. How interesting.
I like it.
I feel like this move would allow me to honor Kasumi properly. So, how about it, Senpai?
All I'll say is, let's dance.
Thank you. This should make for one killer routine.
Oh.
Oh,
All right. So, this one is rather interesting. We have now unlocked Joker and Sumire's Showtime. This one is a little bit different, because in order to get this one, you need to have maxed out Sumire's Confidant first. It's the only Showtime that has that sort of prerequisite. But, if you do that and then go and try to meet up with everyone, you will unlock this Showtime. So yes, Joker does in fact get 2 Showtimes. It just sucks that Sumire and Akechi don't have a second one, which is weird because you would think that process of elimination they should have one together. But they don't. This is the final Showtime, so we will very likely see this as we're going through Mementos. So it's only a matter of time.
I've definitely never seen anything like what she's planning. I can't wait for this. I won't let you down. How are you?
So before we get moving on the meeting, that is another interesting thing, and kind of the reason that Sumire also has that rank 10 post-event. Once you reach rank 10 with her, she will revert to looking how she did throughout the course of the game. She will look like Kasumi, even though she's accepted that she's Sumire. Just thought I would point that out. Otherwise, she'll just still look like old Sumire.
No way, man!
Hey! Yes!
What?
Sure you weren't.
You're right.
Alright, well, we've got everyone together. First of all, let's go ahead and view our requests.
Listen up.
Agreed.
Yes. I am in favor.
don't think so.
I'll play along for now.
Of course! That settles it. Listen up. Wait! You're right.
So those are our 2 Mementos quests. And yes, they are S rank. Above even the previous highest at A. Where exactly will we find these? Well, only one way to find out. Let's go.
Now, let us depart.
Oh, yeah. So that's what that means.
Ah, jeez.
Is this... Oh my.
that far?
Oh, okay. No way.
Now, let us depart.
Oh no, you're trying too hard.
I'm itching for action. Let's do this.
Alright. Well, let's go ahead and rearrange our party real quick. I definitely still want Sumire with me. Let's go ahead and have... Well, we can try to go in order and at least show off everyone's new skills as well as their new personas. First things first, though, before we do anything, I'm gonna head on into the Velvet Room and grab Raoul. And the special skill is Evade Physical, which is interesting. Not as good as Null Physical, so don't care. Well, now that I've got Raoul back, I'm going to go ahead and equip Yoshitsune. So I definitely want to get that Yasutobi skill.
Well then.
And we are going to see just how different everything is with Mementos. Those cables aren't just for show, they even show up on our mini-map here. You can even zoom in. But we have everything we need, so we are going to jump all the way down to Iwalef. So the cables we can see have already made it down here to where the Mementos depths are. The depths themselves have a bit of a more eerie light to them. And we don't need to go through the entire length of the depths either. In fact, it basically just brings us to where the Grail is. This is just simply the wall, and instead of a giant chasm, we see similar, well, machinery that we've seen in Maruki's palace. Somewhere. Now, there's two ways we can do this. We can jump down that way, or we can go in stylishly.
Excuse me?
Hold on, this was where the Holy Grail was.
Yes.
That's not right.
What?
Hey, look at this! What are your thoughts?
Well, if that's the only way we can move forward within the palace, let's just see where the central cable goes. So, with the Hall of the Grail, all we do is simply go around that, and we see the way leading up, actually.
A new area has been confirmed. Updating guidance information.
Whoa, everything got all different.
What's that? Hey, good job.
Jose?
Oh, Jose. Wait, a kid? Driving? And you all happen to know him already? Is there anybody you don't know? There's a flower here, but this one smells a bit different from the others. Let's see how it tastes. Ugh. I guess I shouldn't be picky. I'm going to move on further. Are you guys doing the same?
Well, I feel like it. We might check this place out.
I see. Whether or not you do, let me know if you find any more flowers. I'll reward you well for them. Well, good job. What an odd kid.
Would be much odder if the metaverse were as logical as the real world is.
Be careful if you're going any further, all right? I'm getting all sorts of strange readings. Shadows, too. Starting the search.
So, wow, we already get the full scan. But welcome to Dot. The brand new level of Mementos. So we can't exactly see from the full, well, scan here, because we don't have a full map of Mementos. But this basically takes us up. It is kind of a parallel path up through Mementos. And we can see all the cables are wiring through here as well. This is where our requests are, and it's also where we need to be. So, just like the other areas of Mementos, there are still things for us to gather, places for us to go. The shadows look different. But ultimately, not really all that bad. It's just a Lilith. I'm gonna go ahead and guard. I guess we can use Brave Step with Violet's new persona.
How about this?
Oh, she didn't actually say the name of it. Okay, so why don't instead we use Miracle Rush?
Diego! Luna, aim!
Really? Alright, how about instead we do Fighting Spirit?
Gotta be quick. Violet, just what I would expect from an athlete.
Okay, you know, I'm still just going to guard and let someone else handle this.
Dazzle us, one of these! That wiped them all out! A+, Violet!
So I'll just steadily change people's position. We'll show off a few battles with each person.
Easy win.
So that way we can actually see them with their brand new personas. Oh man, Rogue's Garb. And, well, I do have something that I want to go over while we are going through this new area of Mementos. It's not a history lesson per se, but it's something that I feel I really want to go over.
Now's our chance!
Okay, well,
Go down.
just use that.
Dance, Persona!
And then, let's try a Vorpal Blade.
Dazzle us, one of these! Good job, Violet!
Very nice.
This is your chance! Pass the baton! It's all you!
Switch on over to Skull. And let's go with an Aganyastra.
Blast him, William.
That's 2 down! 1 enemy remaining!
And then that just leaves.
Show your might, Diego! Nice job, Luna!
Who's next?
So yeah, obviously these guys aren't really all that powerful. They're the same personas or shadows that we saw within the Mementos depths. They will get harder though.
Can you tell if I've grown stronger?
So the main thing that I want to go over is not a history lesson, but something that I really want to address anyway. Oh boy, Debilitator Ofuda. And this is where I mentioned that there's something that I wanted to talk about when it came to Kasumi, and now Sumire, for a few different places. And now comes that point. This is what I am going to call the Kasumi rant. Go ahead and switch up to a few new people. We'll put in Panther and Fox. So, I have a bit of a confession to make when it comes to Kasumi. I don't really like her all that much. In terms of one aspect in particular, I
You
should
reached the platform.
mention.
We can go back up from here.
Now, Kasumi as a general character, I'm absolutely fine with. She's actually pretty high up there in terms of just her character in and of itself. I would basically put her at, like, if we were kind of ranking how I felt about the various female characters, she'd be third behind Makoto and Haru. But when it comes to basically what her role is in the story, I hate her. I absolutely hate her. And the reason that I say that I hate her is the fact that when it comes to just how important she is to the main story versus how much screen time she gets, the amount of screen time that she gets does not justify how much that she is in with so many different scenes.
Good job, Violet.
Okay, doing pretty good. Let's switch on over to Panther.
Teamwork! On to the next. Persona!
And let's go ahead and use high energy. And then
My other self.
with Fox, let's use a Yaka Ryoran. That's how that looks. And then we can use an Agidine on Melchizedek.
Celestine! Yes! Victory! Okay, let's move on.
Okay, so that's a few things.
Okay. Easier than cleaning my brushes.
So, the reason I bring this up is that the game gives Kasumi so much screen time. They put her in a ton of extra scenes. They put her in so many extra scenes with Joker in particular and make her seem like a very important character. The problem lies with the fact that she's given so much screen time, yet her overall role within the story is negligible at best. And in fact, she isn't really necessary to the main story at all, if I'm being completely honest.
Here it comes.
Oh man, I don't think we ever saw Violet's critical.
It's all yours.
And now let's see how Fox goes.
Gorokichi!
Keep that up,
Pretty good.
Everyone, with me!
Beat him up.
And the curtain falls.
Very nice.
Okay.
They didn't stand a chance. Bored now.
So,
Go find
I
a
mean, it's
strong
negligible
enemy.
in the fact that you could very easily just write her out of the main story and you wouldn't really change much. And one of the big reasons is just the fact that she isn't really necessary in the main story at all. The third semester, for all intents and purposes, isn't the main story. It's an epilogue. The main story still revolves around Shido and Yaldabaoth. Nothing about that is changed within Royal. And Sumire doesn't have any prevalence in that. She doesn't have any stakes in it, and she's not really present for any part of that. Her role is primarily to deal with Maruki. Which again, you could easily rewrite how they find out about Maruki, and you wouldn't really change all that much.
I got so into the manga I was reading last night that I was up till this morning rereading the whole thing.
I can relate. Why is it you always get sucked into something when you don't have the time for it?
So, again, my biggest problem is the fact that she has so much screen time. She has more screen time than I would think half the Phantom Thieves. She has more screen time than Haru does. She has more screen time than Yusuke, and I would argue she has more screen time than Futaba. And yet, she's not a Phantom Thief.
Then
Looks like we have one of our requests here. She's not a Phantom Thief, and she isn't even playable until the third semester, which again is an epilogue. So it just seems so weird that so much time and focus is dedicated to her, and she's not really necessary. She's not prevalent. She's not needed. In my eyes, she's kind of like a Chekhov gun that doesn't go off. The Chekhov gun, for any of you who may not know what that is basically a plot device that says that if you bring attention to something, it has to be important. For example, if you prominently display a gun somewhere, that gun has to go off at some point within the story. If it doesn't, why is it there? It's basically treated as like a red herring, which, you know, red herrings can work, but not when it's basically a whole character. And Sumire is a Chekhov gun, in my eyes. She's given so much focus, so much attention, she isn't really utilized at all. Like, she's only ever brought into prevalence once you reach an epilogue, which is not the time to really show the importance of a single character or a single plot device. If it's something that's relegated to an epilogue, that doesn't work very well. especially when she's been given so much attention. Maruki works so much better because it's more of a twist, and his presence was pretty much the same as, say, Kawakami. Which I'll say, when it comes to just the things they added, Maruki is super good. Maruki, my god, is Maruki treated super well, and he is definitely one of, if not the best antagonists within the entire Persona series. It is shockingly how well they do Maruki, and how badly they do Sumire.
Then
I've got a lot more to talk about, but we've got ourselves a request to do.
that's...
Okay, for this, I'm gonna switch out Panther and put in Queen. Fox should still be fine, so we'll keep him along.
Hey.
What do you mean?
I may have thought of something. Huh? Hey! Ugh.
So annoying! I'll destroy you!
Halting the Rant to actually go about this fight. So now we have to fight against Shadow Kagami. Rongda.
What's my next move?
Rongda is weak to light, nulls fire, and repels physical and gun. And knows the skills Oni Kagura, Raku Kanja, Makar Karn, and Megadoilon.
Persona!
This fight isn't really all that big of a deal. I mean, as long as you have Violet, that's probably the best thing you can do. We can also, at the same time, show off Checkmate. Although having a Makara Karn up does very much complicate things.
Let's dance!
So we can at the very least get rid of it.
Let's finish this! It's no good!
Persona!
And then we can attack with Fox.
I land it!
Okay, so this is still going to take at least a little bit of time to get through. Because while it's not necessarily hard, we do still need to actively go about it. Man, I do not have a lot of personas that have light, do I? Well, I guess we'll use Odin.
Odin! Ravage time!
Ooh, Joker, you're looking cool.
I don't have too many just single Kogeons, but at least I've got something that I can use.
Persona,
And then I can go with an Atomic Flare.
Agnes. Nice, Violet.
Wow.
That's what I would expect from an athlete.
Everyone dodged and I just took it.
Dazzle us, Vanities. All enemies are down. Thanks, Violet.
Again, this one isn't really all that bad, especially if you have Violet. Despite the fact that she has a Makarakarn, if you've at least raised up Violet's Confidant to max, then she nulls light. Oh man, a freeze? Ah, but unfortunately, I don't think the freeze will necessarily do anything. Well, Odin nulls physical, so I can at least try.
There!
Oh, perfect.
Ooh, Joker.
Technical
you're
still
looking cool.
worked.
Beat him up. Oh,
Okay,
use my persona.
I could definitely use at least a little bit of healing, but... Well, actually, yeah, I could use some healing.
Let's go.
Stagnant air?
My power.
That wasn't in my notes.
Persona. Vanities.
So that's interesting.
All enemies are down. Thanks, Violet.
Well, there's another skill that it can learn. Probably meant for Onikagura. I think that inflicts despair?
This is my other self!
Oh, it's frozen again.
Let's do this!
Let's go now since its defense is down.
Ooh, perfect! Now we get to show off the final showtime between Joker and Violet.
Come on!
Would you?
Finish this!
With grace. This is. Don't forget the pose. You'd get into the Platinum League for that. Can I try something?
Wow, and a follow-up. Go for it.
I'm on it.
Damn, Violet just really wanted to murder this Shadow. That was honestly impressive. Weren't you just saying that you didn't like her? Yes, and I still stand by that, but credit where credit's due, that was damn impressive. Plus, like I said, I do like her character. It's just plot importance that I don't like, and we'll get back to that.
That's it. Sometimes I scare myself.
It's not too late to change. Some of the people around you may be gone, but your daughter is still alive, and your daughter needs you.
I'm sorry.
And for a reward, we get the Spiral Hell Ring. Okay, so yes, we're gonna keep on going. I'm going to switch out Fox, and we will bring Noir. And I can get back to the Kasumi Rant. Man, that was a lot further away than it usually is. So, like I mentioned, the biggest problem I have is just simply how much focus she's given, considering her lack of importance when it comes to the main story. And to kind of bring it into a perspective, I kind of consider Kasumi to be the polar opposite of how I feel about Marie. Marie, for those of you who may be wondering, was kind of the extra character that was introduced in Persona 4 Golden. And it was kind of like what Kasumi is to this game. A brand new character introduced along with an extra confidant and has some relation to the main cast. Here's the biggest thing when it comes to Marie, though. I despise Marie as a
Okay, there's the
character.
platform. Nice find.
But I absolutely love her as a plot device. Oh no, oh no, oh no, I'm staying here way too long. I'm not fighting the Reaper. Hell no. Hell no. I'm getting the hell out of here.
This is what I saw.
So, what exactly do I mean? Well, to really delve into Marie, it's going to go into spoilers. So if you don't want to know anything about Marie, since I haven't Let's Played Persona 4 Golden, skip to this timestamp, and you'll avoid any spoilers concerning Marie. So, when it comes to Marie as a character, if you don't know who she is, and you didn't really care about the warning, Marie is an amnesiac that you find within Persona 4 Golden. Even though she's not really a Velvet attendant, she does kind of serve as Margaret's assistant. Kind of doing things for like any sort of network stuff, or with skill cards. There's a bunch of other things that Marie does. But when it comes to the main, like her actual personality in terms of her social link, she's not really that likable of a character. She's basically your standard tsundere archetype, which, you know, to kind of keep an already long rant somewhat more manageable.
I ordered kusaya, but they refused to make it. They said they couldn't get the smell out of the kitchen.
Yeah, that smell is heinous. Too bad, too. Kusaya is tasty stuff.
Well, that's a new thing. So, here's the thing when it comes to Marie. Marie's kind of a bitch. And that's somewhat what happens when it comes to characters that are part of the tsundere archetype. They tend to be very standoffish and not really wanting to, you know, be friends or
Excellent.
really be nice to any character until, like, they've adequately spent time with them and have opened up. And for me personally, that only really works if a character has a specific reason to act that way. As a quick, like, example of what I think a good tsundere is, I would point you to Severa from Fire Emblem Awakening. To keep this kind of close to Persona, Severa is one of the child characters within Fire Emblem Awakening that you can recruit. And she is the daughter of Cordelia.
Shadows here behave differently from the ones in the palaces, don't they?
The way they move, they're almost like some kind of wildlife. They'd be cute if they didn't look like they do.
So Severa is part of the child timeline, or child era, I guess, where all of your main party has died. Now, Cordelia is basically really good at everything, and there are so many people around her who basically idolize her. Which would mean that at the point of death, since she's not really being, you know, modest about it, that sort of aspect kind of gets blown out of proportion after her death. And the fact that she would be constantly compared to her mother, anything that Severa did would never be good enough. And in fact, it seems as though...
Something's fishy here. Let's be careful.
Why it's hard to do proper explanations, because I don't want to get too far and I still want to get my point across. So when it comes to Severa, Severa just could never do anything that was good enough. So it naturally stands to reason that she would basically hate everyone and everything, really. In fact, the only person that I think that she ever really cared that much about would have been Lucina, which is why she goes into the past anyway. So you see that within her character when she's introduced and within her support conversations. She's really not that likable of a character, yet she grows to more trust the people around her and also her parents the more time that she spends with them. So she generally becomes more and more likable the more and more you spend time with her, at least in terms of any given character, which is fine. She has a proper explanation as to why she acts the way that she does, which is something Marie doesn't have. Marie is an amnesiac. She doesn't remember who she is. So her bitchy personality is just... she's just a natural bitch. Which isn't like, it's not a good explanation, and just really doesn't make her into a likable character. Even when it comes to her social link, she's still kind of the same, really. She does open up to you and the rest of the investigation team, but she's still kind of a bitch. So she's very much not likable as a character, but as a plot device, Marie is super good, and that's what I really love about Marie.
This is what I saw.
In terms of the plot, while you generally learn more and more about Marie, her real significance doesn't really take into effect until you get to the third semester, yet again. Because what you learn is that after you defeat Amino Sagiri, Marie just kind of vanishes, and she's kind of gone for like a month or so until you get to the ski trip. Where then you find a random TV, you find out she's missing, and you head on over to her dungeon, the Hollow Forest. And it's within the Hollow Forest that you learn just who Marie was. Marie was an aspect of Izanami, sent to spy upon humanity. Oh no. Sent to spy upon humanity in order to find out what exactly humanity wished. Oh boy, it's Baden again.
Successful. Now just don't lose. They're weak.
Okay, no exact weakness, but I can still use Thunder Rain.
Ravage now.
Nice.
Persona.
Go ahead and hit him with an Atomic Flare.
No holds barred. That's our queen. Please don't resist. Sharing disarray.
Alright, well this actually won't really be too bad.
Persona.
Barely have any time for Noir to do anything. Well, just hit him with a Cyodyne, I guess.
Mystify them, Lucy. That's all of them. Game
Wow.
set, Noir.
Violet didn't even get a chance to do anything.
Power courses through.
And I leveled up.
Okay.
I'm glad we're doing so
So,
well.
Marie's whole purpose was to basically act as a spy for Izanami, and was part of the 3 aspects that she sent in order to accomplish that goal. It was... oh, whoops.
He's got the advantage.
Oh man, one of them's frozen! which I guess is part of the deep freeze.
Let's go.
Let's go ahead and
Ravage them.
do that.
Knocked them right off their feet. Nice.
Let's go ahead and show off Lucy's new skill. Put up a life wall.
Here.
So that's everyone's brand new skills shown off.
Good work, Queen.
No time to waste.
Oh,
Alright, cool.
let's move on.
Okay.
Now I can basically stop showing off
That was
everyone.
fast. I'm getting sleepy
So,
with nothing to do.
I'm trying to remember where exactly I was. Right, so Marie was part of the 3 aspects that Izanami sent down, which was Amino Sagiri, Kuni no Sagiri, and Marie. Each of them had a specific purpose that Izanami had. And once Amino Sagiri was taken out, there was not really much of a need for them anymore. Which is why Marie is basically sent to the Hollow Forest in order to essentially die, since her purpose was fulfilled.
Oh.
Now, you go and rescue Marie, but the point stands that she basically serves as a fantastic bridge between Amino Sagiri and Izanami. Since it is very easy to miss Izanami, since you could very easily just consider that, oh, all the different powers that you got, oh, that's just anime logic. And there were a lot of people who missed out on fighting Izanami because there wasn't a super good indication that there was more to the game. And that is something that Marie fixes. Maria basically lets the player know that no, there is a lot more to this story. She lets you know about Izanami without...
Pancakes. I don't want to hear that word again for a long, long time.
Letting your guard down for even a second can cost you everything. Don't you forget it.
We got the line! I was hoping I could hear that line from Akechi. Yes! I feel bad about the people who are being skipped over this because of all the Marie explanation. Hopefully we'll hear him say that again. So anyway, Marie basically tells you about Izanami without actually saying that it's Izanami. And that's what makes her so good in terms of the plot. She lets you know about that ending, and so that way you only really miss it if you purposefully ignore it. Which ties into actually finding Izanami so much better than how the original game went. That is...
Even lately, I sometimes dream about doing fantasy things with Mona. Those were tough times for sure, but it was still a lot of fun running with you. This feeling. Joker.
I'm just going to go ahead and head up. That way we can avoid the Reaper.
Then.
So that is basically what my explanation when it comes to Marie is. Now, why exactly is that different from, say, Kasumi? Well, because when it comes to Marie, Marie is still part of the main story. Whereas, like I mentioned before, with Sumire, everything dealing with the main plot of Persona 5 is still unchanged. Everything dealing with Shido and Yaldabaoth is still dealing with Shido and Yaldabaoth. Maruki's involvement is still not brought in until after you defeat Yaldabaoth. He's not some big bad behind even a god of control. He's just someone who got that power once Yaldabaoth was taken care of. Which is why I say that everything dealing with Maruki is an epilogue. And the fact that Sumire doesn't get any sort of playability, only has half of a confidant as well, it makes it so that way she's not really that important, despite the fact that the game tries to include her in literally everything. aside from being playable, they give her such an emphasis on promotional materials, on box art, on everything dealing with Royal, and yet in terms of the main plot, she is not important. She is not relevant to anything despite given so much attention. If I needed to bring up basically like a comparison, and I'm just staying here at this point because we have something that we need to do, and I also don't want to go after the Reaper, or have the Reaper chasing me. If I needed to bring up some sort of comparison to keep it within Persona, imagine in Persona 3, where, let's say, soon after you defeat the Priestess, there is a new student that transfers to GeckoCon. A black-haired student that kind of goes and kind of introduces you, and she introduces herself as Metis. She's given her own confidant, or her own social link, excuse me. She's given her own social link, and in so many different interactions, she is very much present. She is very much there. She is thought as a close friend of Minato, but she has very little interaction with C's, aside from maybe like Junpei and Yukari whenever Minato is there. But she's brought in so many additional scenes. Then come, let's say, against the fight on the Moonlight Bridge when you're fighting the Hanged Man. After, let's say, Aigis, or actually, no, that would come later. But let's just say that you see her, like, there at the Moonlight Bridge. You fight her, or you don't fight her. You see her, and she's fighting against Strega, let's say, before you show up. And that's where you basically learn that she is an anti-shadow weapon, just like Aigis. You deal with the Hangman, you deal with Strega, and you try to bring her in, and she says, no, I can't, I have my own mission. And then she goes off. Okay. But she's still brought in so many different school events, even when it comes to various things from C's, she still shows up, but she's not playable. She's not part of the main team, and again, you don't know why that she's there, and you don't know what exactly her mission is. So you go through the rest of the game, you defeat the Nyx Avatar, you basically go through the entire end sequence, and you still have no idea what the hell Metis was supposed to be there for. And then you get to the answer, and then she reveals her mission. That is what I feel like Kasumi is. Someone who is brought in, has so much focus brought onto them, and yet has no real relation to the main story, despite having so much attention brought on her. And she's only really prevalent in the game's epilogue sequence. That is why I don't like Kasumi. She doesn't have any sort of relevance in the main story. And I know I've said that time and time again, but that is the sort of, what the hell was the point of her being that important? If you take that Metis example and apply it to Kasumi. And I can even think of multiple ways that you can fix that problem. Like, I have thought of, like, what would I do if I was in charge of this development, and let's say I couldn't change any sort of major story beats. I still had to basically deal with everything the game laid out, because you could rewrite a ton of different things if given enough time. But let's say that you had to do one minor change to basically fix everything dealing with this Kasumi problem when it comes to how relevant she is. What would I do? I basically have 3 solutions to this. And yes, I am basically just going to stay here for the rest of the time because, again, don't want to have to deal with the Reaper and a ton of battles, ruining my train of thought. The first solution I would have, make her join the Phantom Thieves at Shido's arc. She specifically asks to join, and there is no reason that you should turn her down. I brought that up briefly when we saw that scene, and it still irritates me to this day that she isn't playable from that point onward. She specifically asks to join you. And yeah, she doesn't really have much of a stake with Shido, and yeah, it's also dangerous. But you need as much help as you can get to stop Shido. Shido is the main threat. And help comes and you turn it away? Why? Why on earth would you do that? Now, granted, she doesn't really have much of a plot significance, but she still feels indebted to Joker for helping her through a bunch of things, for spending time with her and that sort of thing. She wants to help. So let her help. She's not useless. She's not completely, like, that far behind everyone else when it comes to her interactions with the metaverse. She already has a persona. You've already talked to her about palaces. All she needs is like a day or two in Mementos, and she would be good to take on Shido. Does that fix her really, like, in terms of, like, her significance to the main story? Not necessarily. Excuse me. But what it does do is that it elevates her role from just a random confidant that has so much attention and brings her into Phantom Thief status. She is a playable character. She is a Phantom Thief at that point, even if she's not officially one. She's still elevated up in status, and thus her importance and how much is spent on her is made that much more relevant. If she is playable for Shido's palace, Memento's Depths, and Maruki's palace, that I feel would justify having so much attention on her. Her being a late game addition as opposed to an end game addition. You have a lot more time spent with her, and really the biggest changes that you would need to have would be to basically include her in all the different cutscenes and things like that, all the different events. You don't even need to change the cutscene when it comes to, like, the Futaba canon, really, when she basically hacks into everything and has the Phantom Thief message showing that Joker's alive. You don't even need to include her in that. She can say, wait, I'm not officially a member of the Phantom Thieves, can you avoid that? And Futaba goes, I gotcha. And so she doesn't include Kasumi. Like, you can even keep that cutscene the same and just basically change the scenes that she would need to be involved in within those last couple of arcs. And then you basically have someone that you have had for at least a little bit, along with a brand new Akechi coming into the third semester. Again, her being promoted to a Phantom Thief status sooner, I feel would alleviate a lot of issues, since so much of that attention would then be justified, because she becomes a Phantom Thief at least a little bit sooner, and you have more time with her as a playable character. Option 2, a modified version of that. Let's say that you need to keep the original ending prevalent. You need to keep all those different cutscenes, you need to keep everything from the original ending the same. Okay, fine. Have her join you only if you have unlocked the third semester. Only if you have maxed out Maruki's confidant does Sumire join you. Or I guess Kasumi, in that case. Only at that point does Kasumi join you. Why? Well, let's just say that maybe Maruki says something to you in his rank 10. It comes back to you during when Kasumi is begging you to let her join you. Morgana's saying no, you override him thanks to what you remember from Maruki. That way, she only joins you if you are already on the way to the third semester. If you aren't, then you side with Morgana, you keep her aside, and then everything is kept exactly the same as the original Persona 5. So that would be another way of doing it. That way you at least keep both the original aspects as well as adding these new aspects that give Kasumi so much more prevalence. Since if you're going for the original ending in Persona 5 within Royal, which you absolutely can if you don't max out Maruki's Confidant, then everything dealing with Kasumi is a waste of time, since that's not even brought up after you defeat Yaldabaoth. It just goes to the original ending, which even more so kind of goes, what was the point of Kasumi? My third solution to all of this, let's say that even that was out of the question. Kasumi could not be a playable character within Shido's palace and the Mementos depths. What then would be my solution? Expand Maruki's opening palace and have you explore that within the Shido arc. Let's say that is another aspect that you add on in order to access the third semester, is that you have to explore Maruki's palace at least once during the Shido arc. In that case, you would basically going through exactly what we went through at the very beginning of this, only instead of with Joker, Kasumi, and Akechi, you would have Joker, Kasumi, and Morgana. If you expand upon it a little bit and actually make it a pretty meaty section, and then you keep on going through it, you go through, you basically see her father doing that grieving scene, and right before you see that scene where you see the actual Kasumi on the podium, right before you enter that door, Sumire says, hold on, I have a very bad feeling about this. I need to go. I don't want to go on. So you and Morgana take her and you leave the palace. She apologizes and says, sorry about that. I just have a bad feeling about this. I know what you're doing is super important. Go focus on that and I will focus on this. Let me take a look at this and examine it on my own. And if I find anything, I will contact you. At least in that particular instance, you have 1 day that she is a playable character at least. But you also change what's basically just a random plot thread. Well, actually it's not a plot thread, just a random fact that's thrown in, and you turn it into a dangling plot thread. At that point, everything dealing with Yaldabaoth just kind of comes super quick after Shido, that you don't really have time to deal with it. So everything dealing with Kasumi at that point then just becomes a dangling plot thread. It's still not a perfect solution given how much screen time she has, but it at the very least makes her a little bit more prevalent within the main story and also explains away why she isn't helping you. That even despite you rejecting her, she's still trying to find a way to help you in some way. At the very least in that instance, it's not much, but at least it would be something. It's something so that way she has some relevance within the main story, even if it's tangential to what's happening with Shido. And that way when it comes to Maruki, it's not just something that's brought up out of the blue that you haven't seen since Okumura's arc. Because that's how far along her original awakening was. And you at least, at some point, have her as a playable character. As it stands, I still absolutely hate her as a plot device. Because she's not really necessary, she's not really prevalent. Realistically, it's not really necessary given everything. You could very easily write her out of Maruki's plot and nothing would really be lost. Even what we're going to go into in the future with Maruki's palace, we will see a lot more about Maruki's backstory. And you could very easily write out Sumire and just have a few events take place differently. Like, say, encountering Maruki's palace during the meat festival. And it's like, whoa, we should not be here without everyone, and this isn't necessary for anything, so keep a pin on it and we'll come back, and you never do. Does it seem weird? Sure, but at least it gives you a way to justify being able to enter Maruki's palace. And again, you don't really need Kasumi for anything. She's not related to any sort of main plot threads that are prevalent within Persona 5. Which again, brings up that whole Chekhov gun argument. She's given so much attention, so much focus, and yet the gun isn't fired until someone's just giving the epilogue speech. That is basically how I feel about Kasumi. Again, as a regular character, think about it as like a podium stand, how they're positioned behind me. Sumire's third, Makoto's second, Haru's first, in my opinion. She's not bad as a character. She's very likable as a character. But when it comes to the plot and the story, she doesn't have a reason that so much time is focused on her. And when it is brought into focus, it's not enough and it's too late. So that is basically my main problem with her. My main problem with Kasumi. Now, that's a lot, and that was a lot of time just me ranting, just standing here and not really accomplishing anything. So I wanted to try to get that out of the way because I wanted to wait until after we learned everything about Sumire before getting into that. I wanted to do it within Mementos, but it was proving to be a bit too much. So that is the end of my Kasumi rant. I hope you've all enjoyed that. As well as my explanation on why exactly I don't like her in terms of a plot device. But we're gonna go ahead and call it a day here. I'm really glad that just being on the platform here doesn't cause the Reaper to spawn. But yeah, like I said, we're gonna call it a day here. So, next time on Let's Play Persona 5 Royal, I will be considerably less angry. We will continue going through Mementos. I don't think there's really a whole lot left. I don't remember how far the dot area is. So, I'm not entirely sure if I should go over Sumire's new persona. We could probably wait on actually going over that history lesson until we get back into Maruki's Palace. Because Maruki's Palace is still pretty dang long. We'll have plenty of time to go over that. But we'll continue going through our Mementos trek. We'll defeat the last request that we have, and we'll see if we can't try to find what exactly we're looking for in order to progress through Maruki's Palace. So until next time, everyone, take care.